Hey guys, Drifter here. Welcome to YouTube 101, the show where I help you run a more successful YouTube channel, brought to you by Elgato Gaming. In today's episode, we're going to be talking about sponsorships. Chances are, if your channel's going good enough, you may or may not have been approached by a company to sponsor a product. They'll reach out to you for sponsoring headsets, for capture cards, for whole games, for graphics cards, for different types of food. Sometimes clans will pay you to promote them. There are a lot of different ways you can get sponsored on YouTube, and today I'm going to give you some warnings, some of the mistakes I've made, some of the sponsors and sponsorships you should avoid, and some of the ones that you should go for, and how to do this in a reasonable and responsible way to not kind of tax your subscribers. My rule of thumb is, well, I've kind of got two rules of thumb. It's a little two-part thing. Number one is that I don't promote products that I don't use myself, but a sometimes used corollary to that is I don't promote products that I can't see others having value in. Not every single company that approaches me is something that I'm going to use myself. Sometimes I get approached by really good products that I personally don't have a need for, but see could be really awesome for other people. That's okay, but about 90% of the time it's the rule: if I don't use it, I don't bother with it. I'm going to give you some tips on how to avoid bad deals. Bad deals are usually not free-range videos. If you do not have full control over the review that you're doing, if the company keeps asking you to change it, make it more positive, make sure you talk about this thing or that thing, usually not a good deal. Also, usually not a good deal if it's very sales heavy. If the method of you getting paid is entirely dependent on your ability to sell, you're going to put the incentives in the wrong place for fairness and audience interaction and that sort of stuff. And again, it's a very similar thing if they encourage unnecessary sales. If when you're doing your review or your product and you're like, yeah, if you're so-and-so, you'll need this product because it does something awesome for you, and the company's like, no, we want you to tell everybody that they should all have it regardless of if that's true or not, that is a very bad idea. Not probably going to work very well. These things are bad because stricter reviews usually mean poorer products. The less comfortable a company is letting you fully review their product, good, bad, and ugly, the more likely it is to either be a bad product or an unreputable company. And believe me, I've run into this before. There's a reason that you see mostly good reviews on my channel. It's because I just don't upload the bad ones, because I end up fighting with the companies over stuff about, you know, products like I can't tell people that your product crashes and it does this and it does that. Well, how is that honest or fair? And it's not, and usually the audience can tell, so you want to avoid that. Heavy sales also have a tendency to tax your subscribers an unnecessary amount, and that's like big sales pushes, that sort of stuff. And if you think about it, people follow you, they're interested in you, some of them value your opinion, some don't, but if you really push sales over and over and over again, you're going to end up alienating a lot of people, just kind of like how people are when they're literally taxed. They get sick of being asked to fork up and pay. Same kind of thing if you're doing reviews or promos or whatever. And big sales pushes usually means they just want sales, and to anybody, and not necessarily to the right people. For any product in the world, there are people that need it, people that will get a use for it, people that will do great things with it, and then there are people that don't need it at all. A good company will try to sell it to their core customers, to who they're marketed to it's designed to. A bad company will try to sell it to absolutely anyone. So some tips to avoid certain things: always avoid pay-to-win games. These are just going to be fail. They'll pay you a ton of money to promote some kind of pay-to-win game, but you don't want to have anything to do with that because your subscribers will get pissed off at you. You should also avoid products with sketchy sites. If the site looks like it was made for $20 or by a 14-year-old, it may well have been. If it doesn't load right, if you can't check out right, if it asks you for permissions to accounts that you don't want to give it to, it's going to do the same thing for everybody else. Your subscribers aren't going to buy it, and it's just going to go very poorly. Also, a general rule of thumb: any company that doesn't have an official Twitter, or at least a couple of representatives on Twitter that you can literally casually chat with, if you are not able to hit this company up on Twitter and talk to them in a reasonable kind of manner, chances are I'm going to label them as an old company that's not up with all this fancy schmancy new age internet marketing, and they're not going to understand some things like how videos are made or what you need to say or how you run your content. You're going to butt heads with them, so that, you know, always doesn't work out. Finally, near the end, I'm going to give you some tips for good sponsorships. They're almost always mutually beneficial to you, to your subscribers, and to the company. I'll pick on Elgato for this one. They sponsor me to make these YouTube tutorial videos. I'm getting sponsored and paid right now to make this tutorial for you about sponsorships. It's beneficial to you because you get the best advice possible, both technical about the capture card and about how to use it. Beneficial to me because I get paid and I get a video series that I can make about more technical stuff, which is what I do. And it's beneficial to Elgato because for customers that have already bought the card, and they have a sort of go-to video series on how to use it so that they get the most out of their product. They don't have any sort of cognitive dissonance, and they have a lot more happy customers. They also get some branding and representation, that sort of good stuff. Hopefully more sales, but that's not a part of it. The good sponsorships are usually not sales heavy or require sales pushes. They want to associate you with the brand. They want you to put your name on it and be a part of the brand, not necessarily just tell people to buy such a brand. And also, flexible companies are way better to work with than inflexible ones. A company that can't work with you or change an agreement, not necessarily on the fly, but with some reasonable amount of accommodation, is not one that you're going to work with for a long time. And if you don't take anything else away, just take this away. Don't put your name on something if you really don't believe it, because it will come back to bite you in the butt. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you enjoyed the commentary, and I hope you learned something useful. If you did, don't forget to like, favorite, and subscribe. Drifter out.